What's up, guys and gals? Sorry for the lateness of the review. Once again, there's a video for the reasons for that. You can go check that out. But either way, we're back here for the latest piece of One Piece, chapter 1151. And honestly, there's a few tidbits about this chapter, but the chapter didn't completely wow me because I'm still not fully completely understanding exactly what's going on. More so with the Dory and Bragi. Where's this Chinese checkers ability coming from, or whatever you call this game? I forget the actual name of the game and stuff like that, but where's this whole like checkers flipping thing coming from? Is this an ability? Because it seems like the guys that Dory and Bragi were going after, they said like, oh no, I've been trapped between them, don't flip me over and stuff. And it's almost like, so the giants were aware that they're on this like checkers board and they're about to be flipped. You know what I mean? So I'm like, whose power is this? Is this Emu's? What exactly is going on? Because we're not seeing it. The giants are clearly aware that they're on this board, and that's why their captains, Dory and Bragi, are acting so strange. And then they get flipped. They know they're being flipped, and it's working like a checkers board. And immediately, oh, I'm caught between them, and no, don't flip me. And then they flip, and they're like, ha ha ha, the power. You know? What? Where is all this? You know what I mean? I am not fully understanding, so I'm going to wait for more chapters before I even delve into what's going on and how that's possible and stuff like that. I'm assuming it's Emu's power. Emu shows up, has some type of like Yami Bakura and Yama Yugi playing the ultimate shadow game is revealed for 5 seasons of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's been this giant, basically chess match between the two of them on opposite sides of the field, and they've been playing the whole seasons as like pieces on a chessboard sort of idea. I'm gathering that that's Emu's full, like this is Emu's power, but what is the extent of it? What can it not do? What are the limitations? No idea. So I'm just moving on from that one. So we know the fact that more demons are coming forth because the kids are still dreaming from Killingham and stuff like that. We have Ripley going after Colin because he knows that her husband just obviously lost. She doesn't know the details, but she's like, alright, well then now I'm up and stuff like that. And she's the last warrior of Elbas sort of idea. So let's go. Some more demon spirits pull out. Killingham, who we had this very sort of Barney-esque appearance and stuff like that. Comes out looking rather fierce. Pretty badass, not gonna lie. Pretty badass look in their hybrid form and looking... Yeah, this is a great design. This is a fantastic design. The sort of the sort of meshed together trident from different tiers, plus like the horn of Gondor and the centaur bot having the centaur look with the Arlong teeth and stuff like it does work. It definitely works for a great appearance and stuff like that. So this is his man beast form. So once again, his hybrid form of the dragon fruit looks pretty cool. Why exactly a centaur, like the horse hooves for a dragon? I guess a Kirin. Maybe there's some, I have no idea. I have no idea. Anyways, we move on from that. We see that Jinbei's reacting to it and the other Straw Hats, and they're like, okay, what's going on? And everyone's just like, okay, it's total chaos, total chaos, right? So they're just like, alright, well, things seem to be going to plan, and Emu's there and stuff like that. And says, continue until everything breaks. The heart of Elbath, this country that should have been subjugated to me years ago, if not for Harald's miserable failure, you know? So obviously, Harald. Now, failure? No, meaning didn't bend the knee, fought against it, did something. So, the biggest prevailing theory that I've seen is that Loki did kill Harald, but Harald was backgammon, Chinese checkers controlled, just like Dory and Bragi were, at the time when Loki killed him. Loki killed his father because he was taken over by Emu's power and stopped that problem for 20 years, for however many years, right? So, anyways, Loki did that to save Elbath. And no one else knew the true story about it, right? that's the prevailing theory. It seems pretty cookie cutter. Once again, Oda's not always there to trick the audience. A lot of the time, the evidence, like I was one of the first ones on my old channel, I said Kaido was a dragon. A lot of people said Kaido was an Oni. But ever since we saw the tattoo, I said on my 3 theories, where of course one of them was that he's an actual race of Oni. But one of the big ones that I had was Kaido is a dragon. Or Kaido has a dragon fruit. I said that before Wano. I said that before Whole Cake Island. And I had a video about that. And it was one of my... I had the thumbnail and stuff. 5 theories on what Kaido's devil fruit could be. And dragon was like number 3 or something like that. You know what I mean? Because Oda gave us enough hints towards it. And it was like... So when it happened, yeah, it was a really cool reveal. But not everyone was like, wow, totally not expected, because there was evidence leading up to it. In this regard, this might not be a red herring. This might be very just straightforward foreshadowing and storytelling, is that Loki was chained up for killing his father, who happened to be under mind control at the time, and he killed him to save Elbaf. Simple. You know? Now, why didn't Loki say anything? Why this? Why that? We'll get those details later. But that seems to be the prevailing theory, and I'm going to put about like 90% of my stock into that's what's case. Oda could always flip some details on his head, but I'm going to take that that's what happened, pretty much. I'm going to take that that's what happened. So we see Chopper, who jumped off, of course, the realm down into the underworld to try to save Gabon here. Is like, oh, well, wait a minute. I don't know if I thought this through and stuff like that. Does use guard point to save Gabon, who still has the arrows in him, by the way. The arrows are almost like physical arrows, and they're still in him, sort of idea. Drops down to the underworld. Loki and everyone's still just sort of chilling right now. They're like, you know, well, it is what it is right there, right? Now, this is where Loki and Hiruden are actually arguing about the same, you know, if you want answers about what happened to our father, then get down on your knees and beg me. Like, Loki's just being difficult at this point. It's like, you killed our father. And it's like, you know, and he just says, well, he was my father too. He said, you didn't stop that from ending your life. Knock it off, Hiruden and stuff. So Loki is being very close to the chest about the information. I believe this is because Loki believes it as a bargaining chip is the full reason. Loki the trickster. He's not going to give away information for nothing, for free. He's got a bit of a, honestly, if you dislike this, you must dislike Nami. Because this is Nami's entire personality, is not doing something for nothing. This is very Nami. So this is what Loki's personality is like, I'm not giving you answers for nothing. You got to give me something. And what he wants is for Hiruden to beg him. Might be shallow, might be, you know, whatever, superficial, but that's what Loki wants for the information. And Hiruden's not willing to do it. So, of course, we're not going to learn about it right now, right? So they talk about this. Loki, somehow Luffy actually heard that it was Chopper. So this is definitely a voice of all things going on here. Because Zoro didn't recognize it. You know, he said, because even Luffy's like, how did I know it was Chopper? It's like, oh, I just heard a voice just now. How did I know it was Chopper? Now, though I think that Zoro, once again, is definitely the guy closest to Luffy, always will be, it doesn't mean that he has the voice of all things. He's not going to give all the abilities that Luffy does. You know, and Luffy's one key difference that set Roger apart from the rest of his crew is that he had the voice of all things. It wasn't Conker's Hockey that set Luffy apart, though many, you know, Zoro haters said it for many, many years. That's not what set Luffy apart. The voice of all things did. And that's what set Roger different from the members of his crew that had it. Scopper, Rayleigh, Odin, whatever. So, yeah, I like this idea. I like this little thing. And Luffy still doesn't fully understand why he's hearing it or how he's hearing it. Or how does he know that it was Chopper? And it's like, alright, so we got to go find them. So they go ahead, they find him and stuff like that. We get a message. There's a few things that happen here that's big time. So they do find Chopper, is the main thing. They find Chopper in Gabon, right? And they find out that he was the guy that they just fought was the right, it was the left hand of the Pirate King. You know what I mean? They find out he's Scopper Gabon. He's a badass. He's awesome. So, they continue to do this stuff, but then the Den Den Mushi that goes off that is connected to this shaggy person, Loki's like, well, I'm kind of busy at the moment, I'll call you later, and stuff like that. And he says, don't worry, it won't take long because we're not going to be able to talk anymore. I wasn't able to tell you earlier, but the frightening thing I told you about isn't going to come true. So I just wanted to say I really enjoyed our conversations and all this stuff. And Loki said, where are you? Like, here's the thing. He said, don't tell me, are you in danger again? And he said, it's fine, don't worry. And he says, where are you? Now, so a lot of people say that this is clearly someone in Mary Joa, because we know that Mary Joa is currently burning and stuff like that. But if Loki knew this, it's not that... Here's the thing. This person, this shaggy person, could be... It's unlikely to be somebody on Elbaf, obviously. But I would argue there is literally the same percentage chance it could be someone on any island in the One Piece world. The reason being is that, yes, we know that Elbaf right now is in crisis. So is Mary Joa. But just because we don't have the information doesn't mean that right now people aren't under attack in Whole Cake. That Blackbeard didn't go and attack Whole Cake Island right now. And we just haven't heard about it as readers. We don't know what Shanks is up to. We don't know what's going on in the East Blue, the West Blue, the North Blue. We have no idea. So the point is that this person could be anywhere. And the fact that Loki asks, where are you, means that legitimately it could be anywhere. Yes, the evidence points to Mary Joa, but it might not be. This could be a celestial dragon. It could be a slave. It could be somebody. It could be somebody in the... My best guess is that this might be somebody in the Revolutionary Army, has always been my guess. But I don't know. I'm not sure. Everyone has their theories. This is the one that I feel like is much more open-ended. Loki killed Harald because Harald got demon-controlled by Emu, and Loki killed him. And that's what happened. That one's a pretty solid theory. This one, there's theories it could be, about 3 or 4 different people on Elbaf. There's about theories that it could be people in the Revolutionary Army, celestial dragons. It could be, someone from Fishman Island. I've heard that as a big one, that Fishman Island. For some reason, that this is some random fishman in Fishman Island. I've heard that one. Or King Neptune himself, for example. I don't know where that one comes from, where the evidence for that is, but I've heard that one. So, I'm not... this shaggy person, who knows? Who knows where they're from and stuff like that. So, this is where Loki, is like, wait, hey, and they're just here to say, Loki, I've enjoyed our talks, thank you for talking to me, and blah, blah, blah. And it seems this is where the slave in Mary Joa comes from, because it seems this is someone who has been in captivity. Maybe this is after watching Andor sort of idea and stuff, which I still need to talk about, but the idea that this person is just I only knew you as a voice on the radio sort of idea, but you were there for me, and we talked, and sort of like having internet friends, you know what I mean? And sometimes, some people treat internet friends like they come and go, but some people treat them like, you know what, even if you leave, thank you for being there for the past couple of years, you know what I mean? Even if I only talked to you for 11 months or whatever, you were pretty cool. I've had relationships like that myself over the internet, where the internet has gotten so big with Discord and Reddits and YouTube and whatever, blog sites and everything like that. And where I'm so old, I've been through all of them. I've been from the MySpace to the Facebook to all the different social medias, and I've been there for most of them. And it's just like, yeah, this is, you have people that you meet, and it's just like, you almost want someone to say, I won't be able to chat anymore, but thanks. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, no matter who it is. So I get Loki's like, wait a minute, what? No. Like, let me come help you sort of idea. And Gerd is sort of like, yeah, well, you can make a friend? That's crazy. It's like, yeah, well, you don't talk about that to anybody and stuff like that. So, as I said, they find Gabon and Chopper. They recognize that they're told all the stuff like, hey, he was one of the 2 wings of the Pirate King and stuff like that. So he was the 3rd strongest on the crew and stuff like that. And Gabon in this state just does 2 second strongest. Like, he's like, I'm not going to be said I'm weaker than Rayleigh. And right now, Rayleigh, I would argue, was the strongest member of the Roger Pirates next to Roger for the majority. But right now, in the retired age, Scopper is likely stronger. You know, I've already made that argument. A lot of people have made that argument. Rayleigh himself admits he's been out of shape for 2 decades. He's not Garp. Garp is the most in-shape old man. He was stronger than Whitebeard. He's stronger than Scopper. He's stronger than Rayleigh. Garp is the strongest of the old guard left because he stayed in shape. I would make that argument every day of the week. And fact is that that's what just woke him up like, no, I wasn't third, I was second, sort of idea, right? And they're like, okay, so we have to, all right, stuff is happening up there, stuff is happening down here, like we need to do stuff. So Chopper's trying to explain everything. This is, you know, Scopper Gabon, and bad things are happening, demons are showing up, like what the hell are you guys doing and stuff like that. And then they feel this big hockey. Scopper can feel it and stuff, they can all feel it. And immediately we sort of have that panel. It reminds me of the Wano panel of Kid, Law, and Luffy when they were like, all right, you're in a war with pirates, as they headed to Onigashima in Wano. And now they're just like, Hiruden's like, everyone back on the lift, we're returning. Elbaf's in danger. And then Luffy says, save your breath, Chopper, I got the idea. And then Loki says, oh, what type of hockey is that? Well, you guys are going to need my help. Let's get in gear. So now they've all agreed to join forces to get up there and kick some ass. And it's like, yes. Because, of course, they needed to nerf poor Scopper. Because Scopper would have taken care of all the business. And then we wouldn't have any of this, right? So it is what it is, though. I really like this chapter. Thankfully, for me at least, where I'm just getting caught up once again. There was no chapter last Friday, sort of idea. I don't know how long the break is. I don't know if there's a chapter coming this week. But this chapter review will definitely be out before 1152 drops, regardless when it does drop. So, anyways, trying to get caught up here. I hope you guys enjoyed the review as late as it was. But please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always. I'm getting older, and obviously, you know, every time I get caught up, then all of a sudden something else pops up, right? So, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. But I hope you guys understand, and I hope you guys still enjoyed the review nonetheless. So, thanks guys so much for watching. We'll see you back here next time. Have a good one. See ya.